Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us in this second panel discussion, which is focused on the renaissance of the Greek hospitality real estate sector. I'm honored to welcome to this panel Dr. Marinos Giannopoulos, CEO of Enterprise Greece, who is curating this panel, Mr. Ioannis Orfanos, partner in Colliers, Head of Capital Market in Greece and Cyprus, Mr. Picas Asmarats, Senior Director of Investments for HIP, Mr. Roger Allen, Group CEO of RLA Global, and Mr. Nikolas Kafetzidakis, Head of Development for Greece and Cyprus for Melia Hotels International.
Thank you.
Now, as we are having this interesting topic today, we are also expecting to have a very interesting discussion. So let's dive into it. Dr. Giannopoulos, how would you describe the current investment climate in Greece?
First of all, thank you for the invitation. Thanks for participating. Thanks for this amazing panel that we have today. I think we're among friends by all this time that we've been speaking together. And thank Protexo for making this panel work. And I think it's a really good opportunity for everyone to hear what's the current market and what's the current situation. Greece is going through an economic rejuvenation and transformation driven by the Greece 2.0, as we like to call it, the RRF, which is the forefront of the green transition and the digital transformation. Going out from the crisis into the next stage, having a stability of the government and looking towards the future, I think it's something that has given investors, and I think it's a testimony, you guys can further elaborate on that, to what Greece has been doing. I think the opportunities were there, the opportunities are still here, and this is backed by many reports and many numbers that, for example, the EY survey, the sixth, I think if I'm not mistaken, has actually saying that more than 50% of big companies want to invest and reinvest in Greece. The forecast for the GDP for 2024 is 2.4, 2.9, and it's something that it's against the trend of the European Union and the European economy. So I think that's a testament to what Greece is doing and all these reforms that are taking place and all the digitalization processes that are currently changing and keep adding up to making our life easier, and the way our businesses are operating in Greece are making easier for themselves. So showcase what Greece is all about. But I don't want to further elaborate about Greece, but it's something that we need to keep at it, we need to keep investing in, and we need to keep working on it. Because we had an offline conversation with Roger that it's not just about what you're doing, it's about what you're going to do later and about what product you're actually offering. But I think we're there, and I think we are in a good position to be able to look in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Giannopoulos. Now, Ioannis, following what Dr. Giannopoulos just told us, does the interest of investors remain strong for hotel assets in Greece? What type of hospitality, from your experience, foreign investors are looking for?
First of all, thank you for organizing the panel, Mr. Giannopoulos, or Dr. Giannopoulos, as they say.
Depends.
Happy to be here. Look, our role in the capital market sector is obviously to try to match assets with the demand, investment demand. So one of the most important aspects is obviously to be able to bring international investors, institutional, family offices, sector-specific investors, like in hospitality we have plenty, who understand the product very well. It's not just another real estate asset, it's an operating asset. And to be able to do that, we obviously need to have product. So even if there is, and there is a lot of interest in the market, in the Greek market, the problem that we're facing is more about finding the right product and the right mix and the right type of assets. So one thing which is, and there's good work that's being doing from all fronts, we try to do also our little share on that, is that we have persuaded people that the hospitality sector in Greece is worth looking at and is worth investing in. For obvious reasons, because it's a market which is quite unique in the sense that the customer base is international. Greece is a destination, obviously, that attracts tourists from all over the world. And it's a market that is quite competitive in terms of what it's offering and can be, obviously, this can grow as well and can improve its product, what it's offering with other neighboring markets which we compete with, if it's Spain, Portugal, Italy, and the Mediterranean, other destinations that match the Mediterranean product. In terms of the type of assets, the one that people understand easily is the resort sector. It has to be sizable in a very good location, prime location, beachfront, but also in, let's call them islands that are quite popular, I would say, and they have very, very good connections. But because the product is not always there, I think we have seen investors who are savvy about hospitality, who are looking at other destinations. We Greeks, we feel that they're popular, but not as popular outside outside Greece, and they need to understand them. So if you start from Rhodes, Crete, Corfu, the classic destinations, and you expand that a bit to Zante, Chalkidiki, and now Kos, I think we also see people getting interested about other destinations. And I'll finish with that, is that right now I think Athens is also becoming an interesting destination. Athens is not just a city business hotel, conference hotel. It's also becoming, because we all understand what's happening in the Athens Riviera and some of the investments that have happened there, and some very luxury hotels, but not only, lifestyle as well. So if you combine that, and then we have Thessaloniki, we have Peloponnese, we have other islands in the Aegean, North, Kyklades, and the Ionian. So that mix starts creating, I would say, more products. So as long as we are there to be able to promote that product and explain that product, we will always be in a position to find interest from the markets. So I'm hopeful, but we definitely need more product.
I agree.
To be able to place it in a way that it becomes interesting for an investor.
I agree. So, Luis, we are reading in the press lately that you are targeting the Athens market. Why Athens, and what are your plans for the future?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for organizing the panel. I'm very glad to be here. Well, maybe there is some leakage on the press, it's correct, but basically we see a lot of potential in Athens. The reality is that many good things have been happening in the last 5 years. Ioannis was mentioning the Hellenikon projects in the Athens Riviera. But in general terms, we believe that it's a leisure destination where you can use it a little bit as a hub for doing the island hopping. And since we own hotels in different islands, as Corfu, Crete, Zante, Chalkidiki, we believe it's a good combination, and we will create some synergies whenever we find the right opportunity in Athens.
Indeed, Athens now has become a destination at its own. Now, Roger, why are people getting interested in the Greek hospitality market, and how is hospitality impacting the Greek real estate sector?
Well, Kalamata, good morning. It's great to be here amongst many friends and colleagues here on stage. Well, I think we have to recognize from a real estate perspective, yes, we have, you know, the demand for homes born out of urban migration, but parking that aside, you have to recognize how travel and tourism is impacting real estate. And I think, you know, the latest data for 2023 in terms of the overall contribution of travel and tourism to GDP was, what, 20% approximately? So it's a cornerstone of the economy. So I think when we look at hospitality and how that is impacting real estate, we also have to recognize how brand Greece, and we was talking backstage, how brand Greece is really generating new markets, revitalizing markets that have never been placed into as a destination. And brand Greece as an attractive proposition. And again, going back to that key data point with regards to 20% of GDP coming from travel and tourism, as I recall, that ranks Greece in a third within the EU countries.
I ChatGPT that yesterday, it's 28%.
28%?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know, we have to...
As long as you trust ChatGPT, of course.
All the data.
Okay, I'll go to the moderator. Can you fact check that, please? But that puts Greece in a third within actual EU ranking. And so when you look at hospitality and tourism that's building brand Greece, you see the impact on tourism demand, but also you look at actually the demand for second homes. And this is fundamental to changing the appeal of real estate and the demand for real estate here in Greece. And we also can't forget to mention Airbnb. We can also have a separate discussion on the bad things of Airbnb and how that's had an impact in Barcelona as well, Luis, with your home city.
Correct.
But that has also had an impact on the real estate market as well. So I'd have to come back to brand Greece is an attractive proposition for real estate born out of the appeal of the destination and the appeal of having a second home here.
Thank you, Roger. Now, Nikola, following our discussion, I understand that Melia has decided to expand its presence in Greece. Why now, and which factor led you to this decision?
Correct. Hello from my side also. Happy to be here with all of you. Melia is a luxury hospitality company. It's focusing mainly in resorts and some urban locations. We believe that from Dominican Republic to Spain to Greece, Asia Pacific, these destinations that we can implement our model. For us, it's the right time because we see the touristic growth in Greece that is happening, the right infrastructures, the right investments from developers that we could work together. So for us, it's a market right now that we will focus more to expand more. Currently, Melia has 350 properties worldwide with a pipeline of 65 more. And we want the leisure industry, we want the luxury industry to bring it here in Greece, to expand here in Greece, the big brands, and focus on this.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Dr. Giannopoulos. Greece has been actively promoting itself as a prime destination for tourism investments. Could you further elaborate on the specific incentives and support mechanism that the Greek government is offering to attract both local and international investors in the tourism sector?
Yes, of course. The first thing that what Roger was saying and Jan was saying as well is to have the product. So once you have the product and you actively promote the product of tourism, which is, along with hospitality, actually is about 30% of the GDP of Greece in total, you need to have incentives as well for the investors to attract them. The first thing that for local and foreign is the investment incentives law that, according to in the region of Greece, outside of Athens, where you go, you can get more percentage of your investment. The second measure that we actively do through Enterprise Greece is the strategic investments fast-track law that you have to submit to us, which basically offers 3 additional incentives from the current ones, but that adheres to more bigger investments, using some qualitative sizes for 40 million above and new job positions. The first one is a fast track, which especially speeds all the process from licensing certificates you can get wherever you are in Greece. The second one is you get tax breaks, cash grants, depending on what the investment is, to make the investment even more attractive. And the third one, which I think is equally important, is that you get a special dedicated spatial tool that goes on top of the existing framework that exists in Greek that gives you better building coefficients and better building regulation, let's say, within, of course, the Greek legal framework. Just to mention it, because yesterday I heard something that from a company that said that the Enterprise Greece kind of take some time to progress with some investments. That's not true. We try and manage with the team we have as fast as we can all the process, and currently we've been more than, I think, 20 tourism investments the last couple of years, so we try and speed the process as much as we can and then kind of move for the next step. Of course, as I mentioned before, Greece 2.0 and the RRF offers flat interest rates for companies that are willing to invest in the green transition and the digital transformation. There is a turn towards sustainability, and I think that adds to the product itself. We're moving against a more sustainable and more ESG, using metrics now that can even better the terms of a loan. So I think all that together, along with incentives for people to come and live to Greece and either work remotely or come and stay here permanently, I think it offers a whole package of what Greece is offering right now.
I agree, and I understand from what you have said that you see an increase in the petition filed before the Enterprise Greece regarding hospitality project.
Definitely.
In the last few years.
Of course. I think we see, and you can back me up into this, I think we see a turn from the family-owned oriented hotels to more branded hotels that are currently looking to potentially come into the market. We recently saw that with when we went to Dubai for another conference, that a lot of investors are currently looking to come to Greece as long from the current ones that are already here. But I think there is a product there. There's definitely demand. It's up to the investors. I think, which my advice is to have a local player, a local partner here, which makes a whole difference to navigate, through the difficulties of a property might be. Enterprise Greece is always going to be there to help with an investment. So I think the demand is there, the market is there. It's up to the investor to find the right property and the right deal.
I agree. Now, Ioannis, how is the competitive landscape evolving? Can we attract more foreign investment, and under which conditions?
Picking up from what Marinos just said, there are two types of investments from what I understand. There is the investment, which is a classic one, or three types, if you like, but mostly the foreign investors are looking for two of the three types, but I'll elaborate further. So the first type is a fully operating hotel, perfectly well run, maybe with some upside. Let's call it a yielding hotel. You buy that because you want the yield. There are certain structures that help a lot, and institutional investors as well, like sale and leasebacks, because if you're operating the hotel, you just need to release capital, or because you are actually leasing the hotel and you just want to change ownership, because a very good, as I said, operating hotel. For this type of hotels, we want to do more deals. And we're working on, we did one of the most successful deals, probably the first one has been done, until the next one. 115 million, I think, more together. Premium bought two hotels, Rhodes and Crete. This was owned by Nordic Travel Leisure Group, which was a legacy from Thomas Cook. They run very well the hotels. They lease them back, so they release capital. And there was a lot of interest, we reached out to 60 different investors, and in the NBO round, I think we had quite a lot, and there was a lot of competition. So that shows that this product can work for specific type of capital, which is not opportunistic. And we want more of that, because we have good hoteliers, they operate very well the hotel, and because they might have portfolios around, they might want to release capital to reinvest in the third type of investment, which I'm going to go to. The second type is the one which is more classic, the one that Luis and his team knows very well how to do that. You buy old hotels, hotels that the owner cannot really manage very well, or they have exhausted their power to manage it. You buy, you fix them, as we say, you do CapEx, you rebrand them, you find another operator, you run them very well, and that's a very good return on your money. Maybe some people call it opportunistic, I call it value add. And a lot of the funds, the majority of the funds that you have seen around, or maybe speak with Marinos, on a not daily basis, hopefully daily basis, are looking at this segment, but they're competing based on the same returns. So the question is, what are they bringing in the market? Luis will tell us what they're bringing, and they're very successful. And I'm just, as I say to them, just queue up, because you're not telling me anything extra. Are you bringing a platform? Are you bringing a know-how? And these guys are actually not very competitive, a lot of them, because they're competing with Greek hoteliers who exactly want to do the same thing. And they have leverage, debt leverage from the Greek banks. So sometimes the cost of capital is lower. And we have seen transactions whereby the Greek hoteliers are actually the ones who are buying back some of those hotels from funds. So the exit of some of those early movers, like London Regional did with Hadjilazaru Group, Titania, also a resort in Rhodes, it was not about adding beds, but adding a hotel that can be also transformed. So that's where the competition is, and where the foreign investors, as we try to explain to them, they need to do something extra, not just an Excel spreadsheet. And the third thing, which is where the first point goes to release capital, is the greenfield investments, where you're working a lot on that. And that is place-making, creating new destinations. This is what we call growth. This is the real growth. Create new destinations, environmental friendly, ESG criteria, use the RRF, and somebody say create more beds. Yes, but in terms of what? Based on the infrastructure that's available, the transportation that's available, that's how you need to grow. And we need more of the so-called greenfield, brownfield. I have to say, and I'll finish here, that foreign money that comes there is quite sophisticated, partnering with also some of the Greek investors, very well-known investors, who are actually creating destinations as well. And we need that sophistication, because then the competitive landscape improves, and the incumbent hoteliers, local or international, also need to improve their product.
I would like to ask you about the local hoteliers.
At the end or now?
Oh, whatever, whenever you want. I don't know.
I can answer now if you want.
What role can the local hoteliers play in this? Because
Yes,
it's relevant with what you have said.
I think we'll touch upon as well. You're probably going to say something about... look, they are here, established, they know their stuff. Hospitality is like shipping. I won't talk about shipping, but in shipping, one thing we know, that they know everything, and they know everything very well, so when you talk to them. So in the hospitality sector, it's kind of the same. The good, successful ones probably know their stuff very well. They're proud about themselves. And as long as they understand where the direction of travel goes, like from tour operating to more branded to a mix of products, I think they will not only survive, but they will thrive. So some of them are good partners for some of the international investors to help them grow faster. Or, as I said, they need to consider some strategic reassessment of their portfolio and work again with some of those foreign investors to create product or to rationalize their portfolio. However, if they are very well run as organizations, they have capacity, they have cash, they have debt, or they have access to debt, to RRF, and they are very competitive when they're bidding and competing with foreign investors, and we explained that. However, what they're bringing to the game, and that's crucial, is they're bringing greenfield projects. So we work with quite a few through the Greek banks and the Greek banking system who are actually building new product, especially in destinations that not only Rhodes and Crete, but also Kos, a lot of new projects in Kos.
I know.
So we believe in Kos as well.
And Rhodes, Kos and Rhodes.
Rhodes is very established, so yes, you would expect Rhodes and Crete as well. So this, I would say, ecosystem is quite interesting, but it cannot work only with local money and local expertise. And I'll stop here. I do believe that foreign investors are bringing something new. As long as they're bringing something new, we want them here. If they're only coming to do the Excel spreadsheet from London, I don't think they're going to be very successful.
Can I just add there that comment regarding local hoteliers? I think what we've seen in Greece is that there is a lot of local independent hotels where ownership is becoming more sophisticated. And what we've seen in other markets where the hotel owners are less sophisticated, they have a very much hands-off approach. They wholesale the room to the OTAs. It runs on seasonality. And you see owners that are not vested to develop the hotel, which ruins the destination. So, complement to the, evolution of the Greek market is the sophistication of hotel owners that are really understanding the product and the importance of positioning and not just being dependent on the OTAs.
It's true. Thank you, Roger. Luis,
Yes.
What do you think are the main difficulties when investing in Greece? What difficulties did you face?
The main difficulties,
what are they bringing on the game, we should ask.
the reality, I would say the main difficulties, everything comes from, I think that we are all, let's say, very blessed about working in the hospitality industry. I think it's an amazing industry where we, but it's a long-term industry. So hospitality is long-term. We have cycles. We've seen in the past, and we know that another cycle will come in the future. We don't know when. Okay, so I think that the most important thing is always to have the mindset about long-term, thinking about long-term. Okay. This is what we do at HIP. Okay, let me just explain a little bit what we do at HIP. Also, Ioannis summarized it very well because basically we are a real estate hospitality platform focused on resorts. Okay, also we also have some city hotels in Madrid, Malaga, etc. But what we do is we identify good real estate quality resorts that most of the times are in hands of families, okay? And we see a lot of potential if we invest CapEx, we reposition, we bring it to what we call an affordable luxury, which is a 5-star, and then we choose the right operator, okay? Which in Greece, for example, where we actually own 8 hotels, but I think that at the end of the year we will own 10 hotels in Greece. We have combined what we say local, we have brought international operators, but we have also worked with local operators, local hoteliers.
You must franchise international operator.
We have, let me summarize a little bit. We have 3 types, let's go like this, okay? By the way, our hotels are, we have 2 hotels in Crete, 2 hotels in Corfu, we'll have 2 hotels in Chalkidiki, and 2 hotels in Zante, okay? And we have a good pipeline. We have an office here in Athens, 5 people, everything keeping in mind about the long term, right? We didn't come here to buy and sell after 5 years. We are a long-term platform. We have 2 institutional shareholders, 2/3 in hands of the Blackstone Real Estate Fund, and 1/3 of GIC, the Singapore Sovereign Fund, since December last year, correct? So what we have done so far, for example, we have brought Hyatt as an international operator, for example, they're running the Dreams Hotel in Corfu. Then we have been also very successful because you need the local presence and experience of local hotelier like Doms, okay, where we have combined Doms as a brand, as a local operator, together with international franchise, such Marriott or Hilton. And then we've been also, and this is the 3rd model, we have also reached a partnership with large Greek hoteliers, okay, where that we consider our partners. I would say Atlantica, for example, that is running one of our hotels in Chania. Very soon, Mitsis will also run a hotel for us in Chalkidiki. And with these 3 different models, I think that we are very well positioned, and every time that we acquire a property, I think that what we are very good at is being, let's say, being open-minded and try to find what is the best solution.
Okay, thank you, Luis.
Okay.
Now, Roger, based on the project that you're working on, which most of them are greenfield, what are the challenges of these projects?
Not all of them are greenfield. We do a lot with repositioning with brownfield developments, but specifically greenfield developments, some of the biggest challenges depending on the location, because the location, if it's island, if it's remote, the biggest challenge will be seasonality. And seasonality brings also challenges with accessibility, specifically airlift. Summer season, you know, airlift may be there, may be plentiful, but then out of season. Even though the seasons are getting longer in terms of, you know, the climate change, so that's actually an advantage in the Greek market as we see this.
Not in August and July, though.
Well, exactly. But with the out-of-season, shoulder season, where you have limited accessibility in airlift, that is a big challenge. It doesn't matter how good the hotel is, how attractive the proposition is. If you do not have sufficient airlift into that destination, it will challenge the operation of the hotel. So that's number one from a positioning point of view and working all year round. The other thing with a greenfield is having the vision and having the patience to position that property, that destination, particularly if the destination is emerging and is new. So you need investors and developers that actually have the long-term vision and the patience to actually build the brand, the appeal of the destination, so that you can build a track record for the property and the hotel. Other challenges long-term for both greenfield and brownfield is recruiting staff, retaining staff, which is not just a problem for Greece, it's a worldwide problem in hospitality. And we're seeing that through some of even the best hospitality schools where graduates are not going into hospitality. I don't know what the younger generation want to do, but attracting them into hospitality is a big challenge, and I think hospitality needs to build a worldwide greater appeal for the opportunities that it brings into the marketplace. So those are three key problems within hospitality, but a lot of it is all dependent upon the location, very much so, because if you're in an existing destination where you can get the halo effect of other properties, other attractions, other amenities in the vicinity, then you don't have to be as patient as a developer. But if you're creating a new destination, and one of which we're working on at this moment in time, you need the patience and the vision of the investor.
Do you think Portoheli is accessible?
It's a really good question because, yeah, we are working on a number of projects in Portoheli, and it's accessible because, and it's a really good question because it takes 2.5 hours to get there. Although I prefer by helicopter. However.
Good tip, I'll do the same.
But the great advantage, although it's a 2.5-hour drive, you've got predictability on airlift all year round. If you're in an island setting, you're going to be challenged. So there are pros and cons there. You've got predictability all year round airlift, an international airport, and, okay, 2.5 hours to get to the destination. But some of the most attractive destinations in the world, require that. I've just flown in from northern Egypt, which is a new destination on the marketplace. That was 3.5 hours from Cairo to get there. So if the product and the destination is attractive, the brand of the destination is there, then you will create the demand.
I agree. Thank you, Roger. And now, Nikola, which Melia brand do you think fits better for Greece, and what is the added value for the owners and investors to cooperate with Melia? And tell us a little bit about Melia, your project.
Okay. Melia, we have 9 different brands.
How many?
We have the 9 different brands. We have the premium ones, which is inside Melia, Melia Hotels, it's Zell. Zell, it's a brand that is a joint venture with the tennis player Rafa Nadal, and we launched a few years ago. We have our premium, luxury, Grand Melia, my experience, the Melia collection, and Paradisus. Paradisus, it's an all-inclusive luxury brand, but also it's new. And the Essentials one, that it's a sole and affiliate. So we believe in Greece that all the brands can fit perfectly. It depends on the location, depends on the asset, if it's a greenfield, if it's an existing asset, and the type of investments that we have, and the type of the deal we have. What we normally do is, let's say, if we have an existing property in Crete, maybe that works mainly with tour operators, maybe this is a good idea for franchise agreement with us, because we can bring, not only we bring an international brand, but bring value. We bring a better deal with tour operators that it's 45 to 50% of our income right now.
Ah, really?
So the prices that we get, it's much better because we work with them worldwide. The same tour operator work in Canary Islands, the same work in Greece, the same in Dominican Republic. So for us, we can push for better prices. So it's a better revenue, better profit for any landlord that wants to go with us. Also, we're looking for new properties, new greenfield properties that we will bring our value on it. We want big properties, luxury, which sometimes it's difficult to connect it with our, let's say, guidelines, our asset needs. So there, we're going to see new developments. We are coming from Spain that it's, we have many similarities, let's say, in the market. It's a seasonal also locations. We are seasonal locations. We're always trying to expand the seasonality, and we see in Greece the last year that it's becoming much better. A few years ago, when I closed a property in mid-October or early October, now you see some properties operating until mid-November. And this is something that we have worked a lot because the company started from Palma de Mallorca, which was a seasonal location. Now you see also properties that staying open inside the year. Now, the company is for so many years, it's a listed company in the Spanish market, but it's a family company also. A Scarrer family built this company in the 1960s. Now it's the son. So you bring the good thing of a family business and of a listed company. I think we can bring value into the market and to any asset, any developer, any investor, that we can work together for years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, any last, since we have 6 minutes approximately, any...
I just want to add to what was said before. Basically, you want a product and you want to expand the product, right? So, but tourism is something that we're really looking forward. There's a framework for that. So you need to have organic growth. You can't just have from going from May to October to going from March till December, right? It needs to exponentially go from one side to the other because all the infrastructure needs to come together for the flights to come in, for the airports to combine. So that's what I think Greece is doing right now, investing in infrastructure and building that capacity to be able to afford sustainable tourism, sustainable growth, because otherwise you can't have people flocking in a destination. Even if you create destination, you need to slowly build on it. So I think that's one point that I'd like to make, and I think we discussed about that even the airlines are not capable of adding flights to any destination because you have limited capacity of slots of people that are actually going to fly into. And the second thing is what you mentioned about workforce. I was thinking about it now. If you create a product and it's an all year-round product, then the people that work for the company will want to stay because if you have seasonality, they would like to go away. So I think it's a kind of combination of things that can come together and hopefully even solve the problem. Hopefully, I don't know.
Do you think that over-tourism is a risk in Greece, in certain destinations, locations?
Yeah. There's always the risk of kind of going into one place at one time, but I think there's a combination, there's a combined effort right now, the government, because they don't want that to happen. I mean, obviously, you have the example of Mykonos and Santorini, that you got lots of people that want to go there. So you need to kind of, while you keep the same numbers, you need growth, right? So you need a plan for that. I think that's what currently is happening now, while you can see other destinations that are flourishing, but still, boats are going to go to Paros, Mykonos, Santorini. So the same people are going to go there. So it's up to us to kind of structure how it's going to go from the boats, from the cruises, from everything, to be able to help the investments, but at the same time keep, Greece and the environment and everything sustainable and moving forward in the future.
Mm-hmm. If I add something as a conclusion or to answer your question is, we do have a problem of over-tourism in certain destinations, and that over-tourism is actually destroying the destinations. It's their services, their value for money. The locals are getting a bit complacent, if I might say, to be polite.
I would say destroyed. Maybe put a strain, yes, not destroyed.
So the problem is more complicated. So that's why you need the regulator, whoever they is, to decide if this destination can afford to have more tourists or not, and take certain decisions. Like in Santorini, it's much easier if we stop the cruise ships that come every day. They could come 2 or 3 times per day, and then we can do the seasonality thing by bringing them in November, April, and so on. So that is more fixable. But when the infrastructure is not there, we need to decide that we don't need more. And we need to build other destinations. I think we are blessed as a country to have places where, we don't need obviously only 5-star luxury. We need to think about other products as well. It's very important. That's where our focus is also. We put a lot of work on this to bring other type of product, hospitality product, even it's affordable tourism, if it's good 4-star, if it's lifestyle, and we see more and more players getting interested about that. Or it's just like a good, simple family product, because the country has more destinations, and we need to focus on that as long as we can bring them there. And I think infrastructure should move along with the demand in tourism, marinas, airports, roads, ports, and so on, and the waste management infrastructure as well. It's very important. We should be very hopeful, but with a strategic plan. A strategic plan is not going to be implemented by a certain government, but we should be above that. We should be implemented in cooperation with the Greek hoteliers who know their stuff, but also in cooperation with common practice of what is happening in other destinations. The future is exciting because hospitality industry is exciting, as it's changing, is evolving, is becoming a combination of business and leisure sometimes. And we just don't need to remain where we are. It is a sector which the interest of this sector is that it needs to evolve all the time.
Just adding a few comments there, and I think that regulator, the leadership in tourism is vital, and I think Marinos and your team, tourism is in good hands, has the right leadership.
It's not our hands, but yes.
To control that moving forward. And it's funny, I had a funny analogy, kind of sitting here feeling inferior. Maybe it's a bad analogy, but anyway, here goes. Being an English football supporter, I've got 2 Spanish here that just beat us. We've got Greece over here that also just...
Okay, we did something.
Remember Wembley.
And you can have all the best players, but you need leadership. And now the English have now put a German in place to put that leader, to put the important parts of the team together. And so, I think Greece has the right leadership to guide, I think, stable growth, which is important, stable growth moving forward.
I think that it's a reality that many things have been happening, positive things in terms, of course, there was a lack of infrastructure, and this is something that, let's say, can still be improved, but the reality is that Fraport has refurbished more than 20 airports in Greece. The Castelli airport in Crete is a reality, and I think that it's going to be extremely positive.
Kalamata,
Kalamata, another case. The Hellenicon project, now we're talking about the Hellenicon project, but I came here first time in Greece in 2019, and everybody was still talking about we believe that one day, now it's a reality. So I think that there are challenges. Over-tourism is one of them, but sometimes over-tourism also can be even auto-corrected. If you look at what is happening in Mykonos, okay, at the end, let's say Greece is competing with other markets. Okay, so Greece has a potential and a competitive advantage that I don't see in other destinations like Spain or even Italy, but needs to continue taking advantage of this competitive advantage, continue doing the right thing, like investing in infrastructure, opening, as you said, you are blessed. How many islands do you have? Suddenly, other destinations become more popular, Milos, Paros. So you cannot stop finding beautiful places in this country. But there is a leadership that needs to let's say, keep an eye on the, let's say, on the investments and to continue as it is. Let's say, not relaxing, because the competitors are there, you know. So let's say, I would recommend to continue as you are doing, let's say, focusing on strengthening the hospitality industry.
I agree. Nikola, any last remark?
Last thing, I think the market is starting to balance. I think a few years ago we will see only the very touristic destinations. Now we see the micro locations, we see Paros, we see Milos, we see with another eye all these islands that a few years ago it would be out of a map of a global hospitality company, and now everything it's accessible. I think with the right infrastructure will be much better in a few years. And at the end of the day, we're a hospitality country. This is where we should focus.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.